All right, number one, write the slope-intercept form of the equation of each line. Okay, so all you have to do is pick 2 points. It doesn't matter which 2 points. So I can pick, really? Mark that place. I can pick this point here and this point here. And I can do rise over run. So if I rise from the left side to the right side, I go down 1, 2, 3. That's -3 on the left. And then from this point, I run 1, 2, 3. 3 to the right. So that's a rise of -3 over +3. So my slope is -1. So y equals -1x, which is the same thing as -x, plus b. How do I find b? By looking at the intercept. And we can see where that intercept's at. So y equals -1x minus 1. And that would be the answer that you should have gotten. Okay? Number 2 we have, let me make this a little bit bigger here. Just pick 2 points. So we'll pick that one and this one here. So rise over 1 again, go 1, 2, 3. So that's down 3 and over to the right 1. So the slope is -3 over 1 or just -3. So you write your equation, -3x plus b. And can we see where it crosses the y-axis? Yes, we can. It crosses at 5. So y equals -3x plus 5. That's all you had to do to get those equations, if you can see where it crosses nice and neat lines, okay? All right, so let's move that up. Let's look at 3 and 4. So again, let's pick some points here. Pick those 2 points, and I go from the left side, I go up 1, 2, that's +2, and I run 1, 2, 3. So up 2 and over 3 is my m. So my equation is y equals 2/3 x plus b. And we do see where it crosses the y-axis. So y equals 2/3 x plus 3. Number 4, just pick some points again. So I'll pick that one. And it doesn't look like we can get another one until we get to the top one there. So we rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. -8. And from here we go over 1. So the slope is -8 over 1. So our equation is y equals -8x plus b. And we already picked a point that is actually your y-intercept. Y equals -8x minus 3. Okay, slope-intercept form again. They gave us the slope and the intercept. So hopefully, all you're doing here is just saying y equals our slope, -2/3 x, plus b. Well, b is 0. So in this case, you should have just written -2/3 x. Okay. Number 6, again, if they give it to you, they just want to know that you recognize what to write, where things go. Pretty simple. Okay, number 7, same thing. Y equals -1/3 x plus 1. Number 8, y equals -5/2 x minus 2. So those are your easier answers. Let's go ahead and get to this part. Write the slope-intercept form of the equation of each line. Now these are in point-slope form, if you recognize that. So the slope is already given to us. All it means in point-slope form is you got to solve for y. So you have to distribute first, and then we're going to add the 1 to the right. So y minus 1 is equal to -1/2 x. And -1/2 times 4 is -2. Now we add 1 to both sides. y equals negative 1/2 x minus 1. And that is our answer. So on number 10, distribute again. Y plus 5 equals 3/5 x. And I'm going to write this so you can see it. 3/5 times 5 over 1. The 5's reduce out. Or you could have just multiplied. That's 15 over 5, which is still just 3. Okay. And then we're going to subtract 5 from the 3. So y equals 3/5 x. And this was plus 3 here. If we subtract 5 from it, we get minus 2. All right. So number 11, same thing. Distribute the negative sign. And then subtract the 3. And then number 12, again, distribute the negative sign. And subtract 1. Next page. Same type of thing here, except you have to get y by itself again. It's not in point slope form anymore. It's just in a generic equation form. So we have to solve for y. So we add 3x to both sides. So we get 3x equals 12y. We divide off the 12. And that's 1/4 x equals y. So that's in slope and intercept form. The slope is 1/4 and your y-intercept is 0. Make this a little bit bigger. Okay, number 14. I'm going to go ahead and move the minus 10y over by adding it to make it positive. But I can't add that minus 10 to it. Don't say that's 0y, okay? So you have 10y minus a 10, and on the right side we have a 6x. So we'll add 10 to the right. Putting like terms together, can't put the 10 with the 6 because the 6 has the x. Now divide everything by 10. And y equals 6/10 reduces to 3/5, and 10 over 10 is 1. All right, 15. Again, because y is negative, I'll go ahead and move it over by adding it. You don't have to. You can do it a different way. Okay, and there you're done if you did it that way. Y equals negative 2x minus 4. Slope is negative 2, and your y-intercept is negative 4. 16. We'll subtract 5. Do not subtract 5 from the x. The 5 doesn't have an x with it. Please don't put variables with numbers that don't have the same variables. Divide by 5. Now here's what's important from this one. Your slope, remember there is a 1 in front of the x. In this case, it would be a negative 1. So the slope is really negative 1/5 times x, and 5 over 5 is 1. All right, move us up. Write the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line through the given point with the given slope. All right, so I'm going to blow this up a little bit. So this is what our goal has been to get to this point. So they gave us the slope. So y equals 3/2 x plus b. And then they gave us an x and a y, a coordinate that is on our new equation, on our line. So all you have to do is substitute. This is step 2. X is negative 2. And now we can solve for b. So 1 equals 3/2 times negative 2 over 1. 1 equals, plus b. You get negative 6 over 2. So 1 equals negative 3 plus b. Now we add 3 to the left, and b is 4. So rewrite your equation as y equals 3/2 x plus 4. So I'll pause this so you can take a look. All right, let's do number 18. So we have our slope, y equals negative 1x, and everybody make sure you understand that that's the same thing as a negative x. There is a 1 in front of everything. Okay, now plug in your x and your y. Make sure you put them in the correct positions. All right, so negative 1 equals negative 1 plus b. So we add 1 to the left, and our y-intercept is at the origin. So our equation should be y equals negative x. So negative x plus 0 is okay, just you don't need to put the 0, okay? All right, we have our slope again. Y equals 8/5 x plus b. So that's your step 1, remember? Find the slope. Well, they gave you the slope. And now substitute your x and your y. And the trick here is that you put them in the right positions. So negative 4 equals, you have 8/5 times a negative 5 over 1. You can reduce diagonally in multiplication only. So the 5s reduce to 1s. So you have negative 4 equals negative 8 plus b. Then we add 8 to the left, and 4 is equal to b. So y equals 8/5 x plus 4. 20, same thing. So our slope is negative 4. Y equals negative 4x plus b. Everybody substitute the x and the y. Okay. 3 equals positive 4 plus b. Subtract 4. And get negative 1 equals b. Then rewrite your equation. Y equals negative 4x minus 1. All right, 21. It says write the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line through the given points. Okay, so now they didn't give you the slope. You got to find the slope. Step 1, find the slope. So that's your x sub 1, your y sub 1. That's your x sub 2, y sub 2 if you need to know that. Okay, so we take y sub 2 minus y sub 1. And don't forget that negative. The minus sign is not the negative. Don't say that that's 2 minus 1. And students do that all the time. The minus sign is in the formula. It's y sub 2 is 2. Then you have the minus sign. And y sub 1 is negative 1. Okay, so don't tell me that that's 2 minus 1. All right? So now, over the x's. X sub 2 minus whatever x sub 1 is. And now you can do change, whatever it is you do to figure these out. And that's negative 3/4. So y equals negative 3/4 x plus b. And what did I tell you that first day? Always look to see if they gave you the y-intercept, whether it's on the graph or if it's in coordinate form. 0, 2 is on the y-axis, therefore that has to be your y-intercept. So we don't have to do a lot of work here. Negative 3/4 x plus 2. 22, same thing. Find the slope first. Doesn't matter which way you go, but we'll keep it consistent. We'll go the same way we did before. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1, 0 minus 2, and x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So negative 5 minus 1. And then reduce if you can. Negative over negative is positive. 2 over 6 is 1/3. So y equals 1/3 x plus b. Now here they didn't give us the y-intercept. This is the x-intercept right here. That's where it crosses the x-axis. That doesn't help us. But we can use that point if we want, or we could use the other point. Both of these points are on your line. It doesn't matter which one you use, you're still going to get the same answer for b. I like using zeros, so I'm going to use the x-intercept there. So 0 is y, x is negative 5, and now I solve for b. And now we're going to add 5/3 to the left, which makes that your y-intercept. So rewrite your equation always. There's some sort of a pattern there with your y-intercept and your slope, but don't count on that being that way always, okay? Let's go ahead and take a look. On 23, what we're doing is you have to start with step 1 by finding the slope. So with these 2 points are on the line. If you were to graph it, we want the equation of the line that goes through those 2 points. So step 1 is finding the slope. So let's find the slope by doing y sub 2 minus y sub 1, x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So 4 minus 5. Again, I'm going this direction. So 4 minus 5 over negative 5 minus 3. So that's a negative 1 over a negative 8. And a negative over a negative is positive 8. So step 2 is you have the equation with your new slope. So now we're ready for step 2. Substitute a point that is on the line. Well, you have 2 points here that are on the line. So either one you pick is going to work. You'll get the exact same answer. So I'll just pick the second one there, negative 5 and 4. Make sure you put them in the right order. Negative 5 is the x and 4 is the y. Okay, so since I have a fraction, I'll make the negative 5 a fraction. And then you just simplify from there. All right, so 4 equals 1/8 times negative 5 over 1 is negative 5 over 8. Now add 5/8 to the left. So you have 4 over 1 plus 5 over 8. Positive 5 over 8. Get a common denominator by multiplying by 8. You get 37/8. And that's where it crosses the y-axis. So you rewrite the equation. Y equals 1/8 x plus 37/8. And again, looks like there's a pattern there, but don't always assume that that's correct. Next question. There's 2 points. Let's find the slope. So slope is y sub 2 minus y sub 1, negative 4, minus a negative 1. Don't forget, the minus is in the formula. Don't say that's negative 4 minus 1 because you have a minus 1 for the y. It's minus the negative 1. Same thing for the x. Negative 1 minus a negative 4. So we do change. And you get negative 3 over positive 3, which is negative 1. So you would write y equals negative 1x plus b. All right, so that's y equals negative x plus b. And you all understand that that negative 1 is still there. So now we substitute one of the numbers. Again, it doesn't matter which coordinate. I'll put the first one in this time. So y is negative 1. x is negative 4 plus b. So you have a negative 4, which is positive 4. So now we're going to move it to the other side by subtracting it. So negative 1 minus 4, that's negative 5. Rewrite the equation, y equals negative x minus 5. All right, so now we want the equation of a line that's parallel to y equals 3. Remember, if there's only one letter, it's either a horizontal line or a vertical line. And the letter they give you is the axis that the line goes through. So the y-axis is up and down, so the line must be horizontal because it goes through. So a visual of this, y equals 3, right there is that line. That's what that looks like. All right, the slope of a horizontal line is 0. Okay, so we want a parallel line to that. So again, the slope is going to be 0. And the point on our line is negative 4, 0. So negative 4, 0 is at 1, 2, 3, 4. So the line going through negative 4, 0 parallel would be the x-axis here. Okay? It has a slope of 0. Where does it go through the y-axis? What's the y-intercept of the blue line? Where does it go through the y-axis? The origin, which is 0, right? So our answer would be y equals 0x plus 0, or y equals 0. Here we go. Now, let's do something a little bit better. So we want a parallel line to this equation. So that's our slope. Step 1, find the slope. Rewrite the equation. Y equals 1/2 x plus b. And now we need to find b. And they gave us 1 point on our line. So that's your x and your y. Step 2, substitute that in. Y is 3. X is negative 2. Now you solve it. So we have 3 equals, that's 1/2 times negative 2 over 1. And again, you can reduce diagonally, or you can just go ahead and multiply if you want. So that's negative 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. So 3 equals negative 2 over 2. 3 equals negative 1 plus b. So add 1 to the left. Your y-intercept is 4. So rewrite the equation. Y equals 1/2 x plus 4. It's 27. Again, parallel. There's the slope. Rewrite it. And substitute your x and your y. Y is 4. X is negative 1. And then simplify and solve, please. Okay, so we have 4 equals, negative times a negative is positive. 1/4 times 1 is 1/4. So we subtract 1/4 from 4 on the left. Get a common denominator. 16 minus 1 is 15 all over 4. Then rewrite your equation. Please. Okay, so y equals negative 1/4 x plus 15/4. And that's the equation of your parallel line going through a different intercept. 28. There's our slope. Now, pause it and try to figure out the whole thing. Okay, so y equals 3x plus b. Substitute 3 for y, 5 for x, and then we solve for b. So y equals 3x minus 12. Okay, now we're going to go to the perpendicular lines, which at this point shouldn't be a big deal to you. So just to make sure, 3/7 is that slope of that line. So 3/7, what's the perpendicular slope, everybody? What is it? -7/3. So that's what we want to use. And then do the process again. Everybody, go ahead and do that. Okay? So start the equation. Y equals -7/3 x plus b. And again, substitute. Make sure you put everything in the right positions. That's the first mistake you make. You think you're doing really well, and you just get kind of sloppy and put the numbers in the wrong spot. So put them in the right spot. -7/3 times -3/1. Again, negative times a negative is a positive. We can reduce diagonally in multiplication only. So this time I'm actually going to do that. So we get 2 equals 7 plus b. Subtract 7, and we get -5 equals b. So y equals -7/3 x minus 5. Notice that your denominators don't match there. So sometimes they match, sometimes they don't match. So there is a little bit of a pattern there, but don't count on it. 30, same thing. All right, so slope is 5. And its perpendicular slope is what we want, so we want -1/5. That's how you should have started. So y equals -1/5 x plus b. Substitute the values. So 1 equals -1/5 times 5/1. Again, reducing diagonally, 5/5 is 1/1. So 1 equals -1 plus b. Add 1, and b is 2. And rewrite the equation. Y equals -1/5 x plus 2. 31. So our slope is -4/3. We want the perpendicular slope, so that's +3/4. Y equals 3/4 x plus b. All right, so we plug in -1 for y and -4 for x. -1 equals 3/4 times -4/1. Again, reducing diagonally, so that becomes -3. Add 3, you get 2. So y equals 3/4 x plus 2. We drop a sign. Did you get it? Awesome. Okay, so slope is -1/2, which means your perpendicular slope is +2. So y equals 2x plus b. Substitute your numbers. 5 equals 2 times 4 plus b. 5 equals 8 plus b. Subtract 8. -3 is b. Rewrite the equation. Don't forget to write the equation. Y equals 2x minus 3. All right, so those are your examples of how to write equations of lines from graphs, from 2 points, from given the slope and the intercept, all the way to parallel and perpendicular lines.